All right, my man. Halftime, Florida State, Miami. This game is not necessarily playing out how I thought it would. The
Definitely
opening
not.
drive from Florida State looked, I mean, it was textbook.
Hmm.
I was about to just go ahead and give them the game right there. And
Right, right.
that's all that we've really seen. And that last 2 minutes there, they started to do something. Then we had a sack, completely kill that momentum. There's already been several turnovers. I said that was going to happen in this game. I mean, what are you seeing out there?
Well, the conversation we had all this week is, what is Carson Beck going to do, right? And Carson Beck's he's 9 for 11, 126 yards and 2 touchdowns already. He looked pretty solid. Had huge long passes, touchdown throws. I think he stayed for the most part pretty composed, and I think they had a really good description of it earlier in the game, talking about he's SEC proven, right? He's been through the grind of tougher schedules, so coming to FSU means nothing compared to what he has gone through in previous years. But I think he's doing well. I'm impressed with that, and I'm proud of him for that, because I know that, and we're bad about it too. We're usually giving him hell for his eyeballs and all that kind of stuff, but he's out there playing, and they look like a team that is going to absolutely A, get to the playoffs, and B, be a team that's in contention for the final game. Good possibility. Absolutely Final Four. What about your thoughts? How you feel about Carson Beck?
I think he was a little slow getting started this game, but everything you said is, as begrudgingly as I will admit it,
right.
He's in the quarterback matchup right now. He's the clear winner there. I mean, that's no contest, which I'm very disappointed in Castellanos. I mean, he was
exactly
leading in numbers, and right now he's not, which we'll see. Maybe there's a transformation in the second half. We will absolutely see. Do you think the location is more of a factor than we thought it was going to be? I mean, I was thinking it would be a relatively neutral location given the hype of both teams.
So are you figuring maybe it's a hindrance to FSU right now? Maybe there's too much pressure riding on them, and that's where they're starting to crumble a little bit?
I don't know. I'm saying maybe there's maybe the Miami fans have the deeper pockets. I mean, ticket prices were pretty high, you know.
We did say that the Dolphins have had a rough year, and maybe that they're funneling all their money over here to the Hurricanes. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I know that there's a certain way that you want to flow through this, but we're talking about games that are entertaining. I was really hoping this one was going to be more entertaining, but you know which one that you and I both called, which was going to be really exciting to watch. Texas Tech Houston has been extremely exciting. Well, it kind of seemed pretty lopsided there with Texas Tech. Sorry to cut you off there in the first quarter, but now Houston's starting to bounce back in the second quarter. That was impressive, but go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that the Red Raiders, they seemed like they were absolutely establishing we deserve to be ranked, and it seems like the second half response from Houston is, hey, we're a bubble team for a reason. We got to make a statement here, show we belong. So I think that this game's going to get more interesting, and I will probably watch the end of that fourth quarter exclusively before then transitioning back to the Florida game as my priority.
Agreed. And I'm really impressed with Morton, too, from Texas Tech. 261 yards. I mean, 17 for 27, not a great percentage, but 261 yards and a touchdown in the first half.
Absolutely.
That's pretty impressive. That's, we're always talking about Heisman, and I'm not just going to throw his name out there for that all of a sudden. But back to the Miami FSU game, does Carson Beck's performance so far, does it kind of make us feel like he's earning that Heisman spot, that Heisman discussion, or is it yet to be determined? He needs some more time the rest of this game to see.
I think he will be in the 5 if he maintains through this game. Now, if he falls apart, of course, it's a very fragile system we live in right now.
Especially when you keep in mind all the people that are voting for the top 25 and for your Heisman picks.
Speaking of fragile system, we've had a lot of the upsets today.
Mm-hmm.
The UCLA one, we saw what a new coach can do to infuse a program, perhaps.
Really? Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's Tua finally, or I called him Tua. That's hilarious. Nico's out there, and this was the first time that he was allowed to have more power on the field, we'll say, be able to make some play calls himself, have freedom to move the line around how he wants. And it clearly works compared to restricting that. Mm-hmm. So we may very well see a relevant UCLA team from this point on. And, I mean, I've always had, not a fan of the Bruins, but I've never had anything negative against them.
Same. But I will say this, in our previous halftime update, I had pretty much written Penn State off completely to make those 3 break points to fire back in to get in contention with UCLA. But, I mean, they were in control of their own destiny there with seconds left on the clock to take it to a win. But that was not to be the story. So impressive for them to put up 14 points in the third quarter and 16 points in the fourth. And impressive that the Bruins still held on to that big lead and finished it out strong.
Yeah, for sure. The another game, upset. Some people might have called it. Either way, the Texas-Florida game has been a
eye-opener.
Yeah, that completely really turns the whole game on its head, and Texas goes from being people fighting, oh yeah, they deserve to be in the top 10, to maybe they're the worst team in the SEC. Like, I mean, that's how extreme the tides have shifted here,
But that's every week in the SEC right now. It's so hard to tell. The lines are so blurred in, like, from the bottom 3 to the top 3, and then everybody in the middle there. I mean, it really is fair game on who sits where, because every week it could be different, right? I mean, you would have for sure put Florida in that bottom 3 rank this week, easily. And now they come in and play like a team we haven't seen all season. And, what if it's being at home or feeling like, hey, we've got nothing to lose and we need to show out against this team, or maybe Texas was overrated from the get-go. It could be that or all of the above, but I was very surprised. And there were a couple of glints of hope every now and then from Texas, but I mean, Arch Manning still throwing 263 yards, 2 touchdowns, but those 2 interceptions, though, too. Interesting, though, while I was watching this game, at the exact same time that, or maybe within like 2 or 3 minutes that Alabama gets the pickoff from Vanderbilt, coming across field and getting the interception, the same exact thing happens in this Texas-Florida game. The exact same play, the exact same route, the exact same crossover across field. I thought that was really interesting. It did. I was like, wait a minute, I don't know if that was supposed to happen.
Now, on that note, I'm going to take a little trip back in time, month and a half. Preseason rankings had Texas as number 1, Penn State as number 2. And we see today, I mean, it's wild.
Preseason rankings mean nothing. Everybody's always known that.
Then they're
unless you make them. But credit to Florida's defense. Credit to Florida's defense for making turnovers. Credit to them for, I felt like DJ Lagway finally played like all that Heisman hype he had. He does, of course, have the interceptions, 2 touchdowns, but he almost has 3 right at 300 yards passing. I think he had 298. So, I mean, he was out there slinging the ball and leading his team at home against what people thought was a really impressive Texas Longhorn team, but maybe not so much. So,
we will see. Now, on the subject of SEC parity, ongoing night game is the Mississippi State Texas A&M game, and that is one that is – talk about low scores, low stats, low everything. That is – nothing's high except the tackle count. I mean, on the let me make sure. Yeah, on A&M side, we have York. He's that strong linebacker. He's already got 8 tackles racked up. Howell's he's in there. He's got 2 sacks. I mean, this is absolutely some defensive players showing out. And I think there are going to be some adjustments at halftime, but I think this game is going to be definitely solid under still.
Yeah, and I think we may have called it that too. Nope, right. I had over.
Ooh-wee.
Whoops. But I will say it's giving me eerily similar vibes to the Auburn Texas A&M game the week before, just with it being lower scoring and be super defensive. I don't know if that means if maybe Mississippi State kind of copied the strategy that Auburn had against the Aggies to take that to their offensive line and to kind of constrict Marcel Reed, who really does not do well under pressure. You can kind of notice that one of the things that the program was showing is highlighting him being off-centered and off-balance. He really becomes inaccurate whenever that happens, which anybody would, but for him specifically, it seems to be a reoccurring theme.
Well, hold on. Not anybody, because we saw a certain Heisman candidate making beautiful throws. I mean, difficult swapping the hips, Y in motion. I mean, I know this is a technical thing, and most people don't really pick up on that, but he has the moves. I mean, he is doing what he needs to do, and one could say he's the last project from Nick Saban, like the last little remnant of that, and because Saban did recruit him.
You want to switch gears to that Alabama-Vandy game for a moment then?
We can. We're good.
Well, I'll definitely jump on the Theismann train. We've been talking about him all this week, and what's been interesting to me is the fundamental mental shift that you portray for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And as an Auburn fan, it's all, in previous years, it's been Saban's team, a team that is just very good at executing and being hard hitting and playing the game correctly, and everybody fighting for those spots and earning them. Whereas now I feel like it is a very emotional team. Everything is tied in right now to their emotions, and it is not DeBoer's team. It is absolutely Ty Simpson's team right now, and it feels like that, at least from my perception. And he's carrying them to a solid victory over one of the best Vanderbilt teams in the past 100 years, is basically what the stats are showing. So, and we've always talked about Pavi. I mean, I thought he was trying to do his best Johnny Manziel impressions to try and make some things happen, but Crimson Tide showed up.
He was really putting his body on the line, especially in the first half there. Now, in the second half, I feel like the announcers were absolutely – maybe somebody slipped him some money or something, but there was a smear campaign against that young man. I mean –
oh, was it?
It seemed like every comment was being made at his expense, and he'd have like a 12-yard throw, a well-done throw under pressure. And they'd be like, yeah, he's just not performing well. And
not taking the fact that they're on the road against an Alabama Crimson Tide team that seems to be carrying their momentum forward to try and solidify themselves in the SEC for the rest of the season, which is unfortunate because Auburn will play them here in a couple of weeks. But, of course, an Auburn team that I'd like to see still turn some things around if we can find some offensive answers. But that's a story for another week. As for this week, I mean, I still think Vanderbilt came out and played impressively. That first half was every bit I think we knew what they were capable of, but definitely unfortunate that, they couldn't put points up the second half, and Alabama comes in and covers the spread, as some people called. So cheers to them for that.
That almost seems suspicious at the end. I mean, not to put on my tinfoil hat, but it almost seemed like there might have been a lot of money one way or another, and the score didn't seem to
running
reflect
the clock out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's a good point too. But ultimately, why we brought up them in the first place is Ty Simpson is absolutely still that front runner for Heisman in my mind. Especially after the Penn State loss, that really drops Oregon's quarterback out of my mind from being one of the top front runners now too.
Yeah.
Anybody else that you're thinking of that you watched today that maybe deserves a spot up there?
I think the people that I would like to see more from had bye weeks this week. Your Indiana, your LSU, your last shots to do something to stay in the race officially. Because those are the ones I don't really want to give up on, because I think that there is definitely potential there. Now, I think that Jeremiah did a fine job right now. He's still got some game left in him, but I flipped to that a few times, and every time I flipped, he's doing something. So, he's staying relevant, staying on screen, doing the job. I think he's still in the running no matter what. And I really wish we did give a little more credence to defensive players. because, I mean, there are some hosses out there.
One of Texas Tech's linebackers I've been really impressed with. They've actually been giving him a lot of footage. I've noticed this game too. But he's already had an amazing game. I think they keep showing clips of his girlfriend in the
Are you
stands.
talking about Rodriguez?
Yes.
Yeah, he's probably got. I think he's got like 4 or 5 tackles or sacks already, or whatever. And he got
an interception too.
He's a beast. That's plain and simple. That's what I'm saying. I think there are probably a dozen or so standout defensive players, and I know there's all kinds of awards that go to defensive players, and we do give them their recognition. But right now, I think that there's truly that many that are in contention to say, "Hey, I am one of the best players, or I am the best player in this sport at this time, and I contribute the most, more than my quarterback, more than this receiver."
Yeah, and I think there's definitely an argument to be made there. And to your point, it always seems like you're giving your defensive awards and things like that just to kind of appease those people that would make the argument to say that the defensive players should earn a right to get the Heisman. But no, I think you're right. I think you absolutely should at least have, with the pool to choose from, at least one defensive, maybe 2 players in that 5 category to try and put them in contention for the actual trophy. But
I think we might end up with it this year, honestly.
You think so?
I think that there's a decent chance. I think this year, for sure, it will not be a straight QB slot. I think no matter what, we're going to have a receiver in there.
Right.
I think
absolutely.
I mean, honestly, if Stowers would have done something today, I would have tried to church up him for that.
Right.
But unfortunately, it was just not a good day for him numbers-wise. And the targets that he did have, there just wasn't a lot of connection there, whether that's on his end or Diego's. I mean,
yeah, I can't put it against Diego to act like he wasn't trying. And, I mean, he just kept coming up with those 3rd and 4th down and long situations and obvious pass situations too, going into massive coverage options and getting interceptions. There's not a whole lot you can do about it in that situation.
No, but to his credit, like you said, he really was putting it on his back. And I will say both quarterbacks, because that game got pretty physical, both quarterbacks were getting beat up. They were getting thrown around, slammed down. I mean, Ty Simpson got body slammed. I thought I had done a crossover that we talked about,
Getting that wrestling match.
Yeah, a few years premature there. But, I mean, they both held up through the beatings. And Ty Simpson really, really held together. He had one little mistake there earlier on, and you saw that's where he was – well, that's because he had some momentum going. He thought that he was a hero for a second, and he just got a – I think that needed to happen, and I think that gave him the ego check, and he handled it like a professional. He didn't spiral, and that is why my Heisman endorsement of him stands, and I guess at this point it's official. The end of week 6 is generally where you say him, So I would say he's my dog right now in this hunt because he did what he needed to do. He's performed in several adverse situations. He's gotten better every week, and when he's had that very, very difficult moment, he's kept his head cool.
Right. And this 2 weeks in a row of having true tests past the FSU loss from the beginning of the season and really knowing his team, knowing his wide receivers, knowing his linemen, knowing how he needs to motivate them in those pregame speeches. Like you said, having that moment to get the interception, which could have been the turning at literal play on words here, turning of the tide to keep them from winning the game. He bounces back, doesn't let that hold him back. And that absolutely is, to sound a little bit cliche, but a heart of a champion. And that's what you're looking for in your Heisman candidates, truly.
Well, he's not done running the gamut. I mean, there's Missouri, then Tennessee, then South Carolina, LSU comes up right after that, Oklahoma following LSU. Then East Illinois is really the only cushion game that they're going to have, and then they got Auburn right there, which is no matter what always going to be a game. So
it's true.
There is definitely a very tough schedule ahead of them, and he will absolutely have to prove himself. I think if the tide rolls on, then this is one of those movie moments. They're what I'm saying. This is them.
There'll definitely be a docu-series on this in about 10 years. And they'll have interviewed all the players and talk about their run for the national championship. And they'll reference that FSU loss. And they'll have clips and sound bites. And that sound bite of him in that post-game interview from the Georgia game will be in there absolutely to try and
100%.
talk about the direction of where they go. I get behind that. I think their biggest test will probably be Oklahoma, no offense to Auburn, to kind of really see where they get solidified. But the way that Oklahoma did play Auburn earlier in the season, I need to be impressed with, what does Mateer look like at that stage? Is he able to compete at the level to be against Ty Simpson and rally his Sooners? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see there. Let's circle back one more time to the Raiders and Cougars game. First of all, I just put 1 and 2 together. That obviously you're a Raiders fan for the simple reason that they are the Raiders. With your Oakland boys, or what are they now? They've changed. How many different hands? Are they the Los Angeles Raiders now again?
That's the nature of the game.
But anyways, for these Texas Tech Raiders, I mean, they've definitely impressed me, and they're putting points on the board again. As we see, they're up 28-11 now. I'd love to see how Houston's going to combat that momentum. And good grief, Morton's up almost 300 yards passing.
294 now, that's all. And there's still a little more room left on the board before he gets another touchdown, so that will surpass 300 here.
And they just play quick. They've got a very interesting play style that I don't see as much anymore, where obviously it's more of a hurry up, but it's just the ball is coming out of Morton's hands that much faster. And I feel like that's what's kind of throwing a lot of their opponents, especially the Cougars, off today.
It's a really quick operational tempo.
Right, exactly. Sure. But go ahead. What were you about to say? What do you want to transition to?
Oh, no, I was about to go ahead and put a old ribbon on it, proverbially, as they say.
All right.
Do we have any final thoughts, though? I will say, not to go back to the Bama thing, I think that you may be correct stating that Oklahoma will be the truest competition that they have coming up, especially this week. Oklahoma has really been the only team that has done what they are supposed to do. That is, covered the spread, been the power team they're supposed to, handled it exactly how they're supposed to, and not look sloppy doing it. So I will give them their kudos for that, especially with the Mateer situation. That just shows that it's a solid team all around. So I think they are absolutely a force to be reckoned with.
They are, but they need to truly get their hands dirty again and see how they're going to pull out. Final thoughts here on the Hurricanes and Seminoles. Does FSU have a chance to rally back here this second half? What do you think?
Well, as they said in a famous documentary about two scholars, there's always a chance. And, I mean, it's a 2-score game. That's nothing outlandish.
No, definitely not.
I think we will see if Florida State can do more than one amazing drive right off the rip, then we got us a game here, folks. It's just that consistency that I've seen lacking this game.
I want to see them try and pull something out here with Miami, get a big stop, but I also want to see Mississippi State finish strong with A&M regardless of the outcome. That's my second big want for tonight.
Well, A&M has the ball, but it's still 3-7, Still a close game.
Anything goes, sir. Anything goes.
Indeed. We will talk about that in our next episode.
All right, dude. Godspeed, sir. Thanks for watching.
Sir. Appreciate you coming out. Appreciate y'all tuning in and watching, folks.